I'm that cranky kid, and today we're doing my first ever review. Today we're reviewing Doctor Who, Series 10, Episode 1, The Pilot. Now, the reason I decided to start with Doctor Who is because the new season just aired recently, and with it being such an iconic show, I guess I really have to watch what I say. Because it's got a huge fan base, really huge fan base. And I'm not saying I don't like the show. I enjoy the show a lot. I was really looking forward to this new season. But there are a couple things in the first episode that I thought could have been changed to give a little bit more of, let us know a little bit more about the characters. There were some characters we didn't get to see, but there were some brilliant Easter eggs and other things. There were good parts of it and bad parts of it. And I would assume that anyone who reviews or likes to review it would notice these things as much as I did. So without further ado, let's get on with this review. Alright, so the episode opens at a school, at a university. I'm guessing it's the doctor's office. And it seems relatively decorated, yada yada yada. And then, wait a minute, is that Nardole? Opening the door for Bill for some reason. And the reason I'm confused about this, as he makes robotic noise with his arm, the reason I'm confused with this is because isn't he trapped somewhere? Nonetheless, the scene continues on as the doctor's telling Bill how normal people frown when they see something new, and she smiles. And she's a little confused at these references because she doesn't even go to a school. She's just working for Chips. Nonetheless, she serves Chips in the canteen. Later, she ends up sneaking underground where the doctor and Nardole are. Almost got caught there. And then after that, the weird experience, actually almost getting caught, she almost gets caught by them. They're building something. And then we meet this this new character named Heather, who we never get to actually connect with. This character is just here, and Bill meets her, and she notices she's got a defect in her eye that looks like a star. But the problem is, we're literally just talking about how she's got a star in her eye. And I guess that's kind of connecting, but it would have been a little bit nicer. Later, she takes her to see some puddle in the city, where it seems when you look through the puddle, your reflection is wrong. Like, it looks normal, but it's just wrong. And, and Bill notices this. She's like, that's my face, but it's wrong. And it's just wrong for no good reason. And then she strangely walks off. Later, Bill gets to see some never-before-seen photos of her mother, who never liked her picture taken, and notices a time-traveling effect. She looks in the background of one photo and notices the doctor took the picture, which then gets her to go see him herself. And of course, knowing the doctor, after being told this, he immediately rushes to the puddle to find out what's happening. What's happening? And no joke, Bill gives the most accurate description of the doctor's run ever.
Why do you run like that?
Like what?
Like a penguin with his arse on fire. Are they?
That's right. And so later they notice these scorch marks and assume it's aliens. And what does the doctor tell Bill to do? Here's what.
Let's get you on the bus.
The what? The bus?
Tutorial's over.
That's right, folks. If something bad is starting to happen and your kid doesn't see it, tell them, let's get you on the bus. Terrorist attack? Alright then, let's get them on the bus. Someone's breaking into your house? Let's get them onto the bus. Anyway, later Bill gets to her house and hears the shower's on, so she goes to tell her mom, hey, I'm gonna make you some tea, or whatever you do there. And then she gets a phone call from who else? Her mom. Wait, Then who's in the shower? So after going to investigate it, she notices there's the water running in the toilet. And she goes on to see that whoever was in the tub moved to the shower. So she goes to see who was in the shower, and she thinks it's her landlord or whatever, which would be kind of creepy. So she walks up, and she finds no one else than... Ah! Help! It's the air! There's no one there! We've got to hide! There's nobody in the shower! Hide! Hide! Run for your lives! Run for your lives! There's no one in the shower! This does, however, scare Heather back to the university, where she sees who else than dead Heather. Now, I'd love to sympathize here, but I really can't, because it's hard to sympathize with someone you never got to meet. And so basically, they stand there staring at each other, and as Bill moves closer, so does Heather. That makes it creepy. And then Bill says hello. She copies her. So they decide to play a little game of follow the leader, basically. And then later on, Bill makes the greatest assumption ever to be made in this entire episode. Take a look. Keep looking. Okay, so we notice she's wet. Yes. Now, Bill, make your great assumption that is going to surprise everyone. Yes, and then she copies her. And so that scares Bill. Where else than into the building? And where she meets the doctor, where she sees the doctor and tries to hold off something, most likely made of water, with a chair, because that's gonna stop it. Eventually it comes up and grows out of the ground like a huge tree and scares them to death. Where the doctor goes, ooh, fascinating. Bill goes, ah, scary. And basically the doctor looks at this thing, and she creepily stares at him for 5 seconds, and they decide to take a pop into his box, where Bill has her great first time the companion entered the TARDIS moment. Yeah, we already saw that earlier. It doesn't really matter. I mean, all companions have this moment, so whatever. Nonetheless, they enter the TARDIS, yada yada yada, and there we go. There's her magical moment in the TARDIS. And their first assumption is to get away from Heather. And she ruins the moment like 5-6 times as he tries to make it magical. Nardole comes up and says he needs to repel her, and then they have to escape from the evil water creature. And where else do they go than downstairs? When that doesn't work, they go to Australia, where Heather finds them. Then they go to an alien planet, where Heather finds them. So they try one last time by going into a war where Heather's there. They quarantine off all the Daleks that try to kill them. This is where Bill first meets a Dalek. And then later, they meet another Dalek, a broken one, which turns out to be Heather. Want to know how I know? 1, it sounds weird, and 2, if you take a look at the eye stalk, you'll notice something a little bit different. Take a look for yourselves. The Dalek has... Take a look. Take a look. Take a look. Here it comes. This Dalek's special. It's got a star in its eye. And it's got an eye. Eventually, we learn that Heather's just following Bill around because she made a promise to Bill. And so Bill tells her to get rid of that promise. And Heather tries to take her into this magical void where she tries to take her away. So it's a little bit confusing. So they're trying to explain to Bill right now that Heather's just keeping her promise, never leaving Bill. That'd be creepy. Nonetheless, he tells her that she has to tell her to stop following her. And yes, that's basically what she's doing right here. Right here, we see Bill explaining to dead Heather, who I wish we could connect with, that she can stop following her. And she says, I will. She copies her, of course. And then they try to have this touching moment where she holds out her hand and tries to take her away to the magical void of time and space. But that's pretty obvious that we've already done that now. Let's sing her a moment. And they're saying goodbye. Yeah, here we go. This is where she tries to take her away to the magical void of time and space, which obviously doesn't work. She sees all the time when she first met Heather, the one we still can't sympathize with. The doctor explains that all good traps look like not traps, obviously. All traps are beautiful. And then she sees this weird whirlpool thing where we get to stare at dead Heather's face, which is a little creepy. And he tries to tell her to not connect, yada yada yada, more magical stuff, goodbye. This is the part where I wish we could sympathize with Heather, but it's hard to when we never ever heard anything about her except she didn't like being around stuff. Well, goodbye. I wish I could be sad. And then he asks her, Bill, if she's alright. She says, I'm fine, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, she's fine. So then the Doctor looks down at the pedal and turns away, getting ready to go back to the TARDIS. And Nardole says the best description of the Doctor, that the Doctor never notices the tears. He says that right about this part. I love it when he did the Sonic. But he never notices the tears. Nonetheless, later, and Bill says, I don't think they're mine, which is a little weird. Nonetheless, they leave, and the Doctor tells her that he has to erase her memory. And she doesn't like this idea, and that hasn't come up yet. But as you can see, they're sitting here talking about the adventure, and then the Doctor has a way to erase her memory. He's going to do what he does to all companions. Erase her memory. This is as obvious as it gets. So he gets up, tells her to get up, and he's going to do the magical thing where he erases your memory. But Bill obviously notices this because she watches sci-fi. So she tries to make it out like she's not dumb, and she isn't. And so she tells him later on, how would you feel like if they did this to you? And they play Clara's theme song. That is so sad. And I'm going to play that music in recognition and remembrance of Clara, starting now. No, not now. Talk about Good Dream. Starting now. Why? So after that whole sad dilemma, the Doctor finally tells her to get out of his office and he will let her keep her wonderful memories of time and space and magic and yada yada yada. So he actually says nice, and then he tells his picture of Susan to shut up. Okay, that's nice. And he also tells that to River, and he seems to be contemplating about not having a companion for once, which is still kind of weird, nonetheless. But he still tells him that he can't do it again, and it continues to play her theme, which made some people cry. Some people just thought it was annoying. And then Bill sees the TARDIS and the Doctor outside, and the Doctor makes one final speech towards the end, and he tells her, hey, I changed my mind all of a sudden. I'm gonna take you through time and space. Yay! But still, he tells her TARDIS, T-A-R-D-I-S, time and relative dimension and space, and tells her it means do whatever you like. No, seriously. It does mean do whatever you like. And so he's telling her, I'll give you a second chance. I'll take you through the mystical void of time and space. Woo! That's literally what it does. Oh, and he perfected the snap thing. But nonetheless, he tells her that she can travel with him because they decide they're going to travel through time and space together. And there you have it. Doctor Who, Series 10, Episode 1, the pilot review. Overall, it was pretty good, but at the same time, I had absolutely no way to relate towards the end when Heather basically died, because we hardly got to know her at all, other than she doesn't like to be around people, and that's just about it. If we had gotten maybe a little bit more of a connection with Heather, it would have been a little bit easier for me to connect towards the end, so we could relate to Bill, but it was really hard to, because we had little to no character connection during the episode. But other than that, that concludes today's review. I'm that cranky kid, so probably stay away from my house.